Around 500,000 children die due to diarrheal disease, and we know the major causes of diarrheal disease actually are lack of water and sanitation, particularly in informal settlements. Providing infrastructure, big pipe, is really very successful in very large city. But we found this is quite difficult to implement in an informal settlement. That's why we need to find better solutions. The first time I visited during the flood season, this community had difficulty to get out, and they use a bamboo bridge because the water is quite high.
Sometimes the floods were so bad that even the bamboo bridge was covered, so they would use a raft that was pulled by a rope to pick up the children in the morning to get them to the road so that they could go to school. So you can just imagine the level of disruption and of course the level of ill health associated with that kind of level of flooding.
One of the uniqueness of this project is that it involves many expertise, from epidemiologists, sociologists, anthropologists, economists.
I'm in fact an architect and urban designer, and I was brought in because we think of designs that address a whole range of challenges in combination. So the whole project involves 24 communities in total, 12 in Indonesia, 12 in Fiji. Batua is the RISE demonstration site in Indonesia. We wanted to actually test the system that we were going to apply to these other 12 communities.
We spent about a year to discuss with this community the best place to put this community septic tank. What's the best place to put the wetland?
So these are constructed wetland systems through which we put the effluent water from the toilets, and the pathogens are in fact cleaned from the water before it's discharged into the environment. That's not new. These green nature-based systems have been around for some time. What is novel here is their use in informal settlements. We've been doing monitoring for a bit over a year now, and over the last sort of 4 months or so, we have been able to meet the discharge standards for Indonesian government. So it's working, particularly in the reduction of fecal pathogens, that is, the bugs from poo that are the ones that cause all the sickness in these communities.
We believe one of the major determinants of human health is an environmental health. How do we know that there will be less pathogen in environment as a result of these particular innovative interventions? That's the question we would like to answer. Then we are now in the process of collecting data.
We're working in 24 communities across Indonesia and Fiji, and we have randomly allocated half the communities to receive the revitalising intervention in the first round of upgrades. Our communities have been incredibly generous in allowing our field workers to visit every 3 to 6 months and take samples and do surveys. There was a period that we couldn't safely go into communities. We didn't want our workers to bring COVID into communities or to be exposed if there were outbreaks going on.
COVID has impacted the whole project. For instance, in 2020 and 2022, there is no visit from Australia.
And this is actually, I think, turned out to be a real benefit. We have gone from a model that would have had samples being taken in Fiji or Indonesia, shipped to Australia to be analysed. We've instead shipped pieces of equipment that were needed in the lab, really cutting edge pieces of equipment, so that the work can be done in each of the labs that we've set up. The rigorous study that we're doing now will give us physiological and biological and scientific evidence that currently doesn't exist. We can learn from this journey and learn about priorities for interventions for the future in terms of water and sanitation management, but also more holistically in how the environments we live in fundamentally impact on our health.
Currently, there are approximately 900 million people living in informal settlements. That number is expected to more than double by 2030. So in 8 years, it's expected to grow to 2 billion and to 3 billion by 2050. Centralized service systems have a tiny reach. We will not meet the needs of informal settlement dwellers going forward unless we think of different ways to address these challenges.
There are many changes currently now in Batua. This infrastructure we built there in the particular community, it also attracts other projects. For instance, the local government, they provide light and also waste collection. And also during the flood season, they no longer to require the bamboo bridge.